Well, it happened. I got an email this week. The email I was dreading to receive. I was notified that not only can I not build a cabin here, but I also can't have the temporary shelter, the bushcraft shelter here either. And even though, like I've talked about, I knew this was a possibility, it's really affecting me a lot. And I tried to work through that and figure out why, because I do have a couple other viable alternatives for a location. There are definitely some drawbacks to those locations, which is why I chose this one. But it was affecting me more than just disappointment. It was affecting me more than just, okay, now I got to take another thing apart and move it. And I came to realize that it was affecting me so much because of what this particular location means. I've been putting out videos for about a year and a half, give or take. But this whole project has spanned probably over the last 3 years as far as planning, finding the location, initial filming, things like that. But even more than that, the amount of time, it was the time period in my life that it covered. And there were periods in those 3 years that were extremely difficult for outside reasons, outside the channel, outside the cabin, all that stuff, life. And I used this as an anchor during those periods to work through things, to take some time away, to pause, to reflect, to pray. And so that's why I think it's affecting me so much, because this place has done so much for me. I really love it here. I love the work we've been able to get done. I love everything about it. And so as I was doing, what I call mental work, just sitting and thinking about what this place means, why it's affecting me like it is, and taking it to prayer, the conclusion I came to was, well, this location was here for me when I needed it. But I'm not the man I was when I needed this place anymore. And so maybe the man I am now needs a different location. So logistically, what does this mean? That means that I have to have everything, which is a lot of stuff, out of here by June 1st. It is currently February 27th. So I've got about 3 months. So there's a few more things I want to finish here. And then we will have a period of dismantling and hauling away. I still have the entire goat shed back there on pallets. That's going to be a chore. depending on where I decide to go with it all. I've got the skids over here for the cabin. Obviously, I've got the bushcraft shelter. That's probably going to be one of the easiest things to take down, since it's just put together with you know, fencing wire and paracord. And so during this transition, I'm going to ask you guys for a favor. Number one, if you would say a prayer for me, because this is going to be tough to say goodbye. But number two, I need to scout a new location. So that's what we're going to do right now. Come on. Okay, here's one potential spot. Maybe tuck something back in there, kind of under that tree. It opens up to the north quite a bit onto the neighbor's field. I wouldn't have much of a wind block to the north, which would be less than ideal. This would be another potential spot. So we'd be sheltered to the north by these big cedars. But there's one issue with that, and that this big trees, those are locust trees, which means we've got these big, gnarly thorns on the branches, and I'm afraid we'd be constantly stepping on them and having those issues. So pretty cool little spot here that would work well, but we'd have to decide what to do with these locust trees. They're nice and big, beautiful, healthy. Hate to cut them down. They are also a pretty big pain to be around. See if I can show you some of the needles. I don't know how well you can see those. Oh, here, I've got one right here in front of me. See those big old needles? Those are all very sharp and go right through the sole of a shoe. Okay, here's potential number three. Pretty closed in, sheltered on I'd say three sides. Again, not a lot of buffer to the north, which isn't ideal, but no thorny locusts over here. Not a bad spot. It actually feels pretty cozy back in here. Like I said, it's sheltered on three sides. Good cedar trees on the west. In the east, we actually have a brush pile there we can pull wood from. And then on the east and southeast, we've got some cedar trees that'll continue to grow. I don't super love our view to the south. You can actually see onto the neighbor's property in that direction. And the other thing to consider is right down in there. Okay, see that big tree right there? That's another locust tree, but it's, 30 feet from where we put a cabin. Just beyond that is what I call a hog wallow. And I call it that because when we had hogs, that's where they'd wallow. It's a natural low spot that does not drain. So in the summer, it's gonna be thick with mosquitoes and all kinds of undesirables, but I'd say it's probably 40 feet away, so maybe we're far enough away from it to where it wouldn't affect us much. I don't know. What do you guys think? This one's not bad. Okay, I just walked down from the last spot into another little clearing here. And it's got good surroundings, really 360, especially considering we got these new two cedar trees to the north we could kind of back up to. And especially, we're here in the dead of winter, so it's as bare as it's going to be. So during the summer, fall, and even early winter, it's really going to feel pretty secluded in here. So this might be a good contender. For those of you that have been watching for a while, this would be what I consider another option. This is the old tree that unfortunately I believe has died. This is 2 or 3 acres that's completely wooded. There'd be ample building material. There's a cool little creek, would be a generous word to give it. Ditch would probably be a better explanation, but for most of the year, like right now, it's got some water in it. So this would definitely be a cool location. This is by far the least accessible. And just beyond the trees, I don't think you can see, but that's actually a business back there. So that really kind of cuts down on the feeling. And then just beyond the shot to the right is the back of a house. So it's going to be a give and take. This is definitely by far, I think, the coolest location. Mature trees and everything, plenty of building material. But where it sits on the entire property as a whole, it's in one corner. So close to a house and a business. So I don't know. This would be the view, kind of looking out the front door. Kind of nice to have the little creek here. Got an old mineral feeder back there. Need to deal with that. And off to the west, we'd have beautiful sunsets. Okay, I found another spot. Unfortunately, we're looking right into the sun. There we go. So if we oriented it this way, orientated, sure. If this was kind of the front door, we'd be looking right out on the creek. This does feel fairly secluded. And I think we could do what we want to do here without the business behind me or the house off to the side without really bothering anybody. This is a good candidate. I like this. Well, I feel better after that, actually. I didn't hate any of those spots at all. Most of them had some pros and cons, so curious to see what you guys think. Let me know. I can't say I totally have a clear favorite right now, so cast your votes in the comments on your way down. Click that like button, subscribe. This place really helped me when I needed it. And I'll always be grateful for that. But we got 3 months, so let's see what we can get finished in that time. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Today was a good day. I needed this. As always, I hope this video was a blessing to you. I'm excited to bring you guys along on the next chapter of A Quiet Catholic. We'll see you next time.